Let us start our class by reciting Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Good morning. So, today we are going to discuss remaining beautiful mental factors and the combination of those beautiful mental factors with regards to Sobhana Citta, beautiful consciousness. Maha Kusala, Maha Vipaka, Maha Kiriya, Rupavachara, Rupavachara, and Lokuttara. Up to now, we have discussed universal consciousness, Sabbacita Sadharana, unwholesome consciousness, Akusala, and half of the beautiful mental factors, Sobhana Cetasikā. Last time we have discussed Cetasikas up to 6 pairs, and we discussed extra one as Panya Amoha, Saddha, Sati, Hiri, Ottappa, Alobha, Adosa, Amoha, Tatra Manchattata. Those are the Cetasikas we have learned in last section. Today we will start with the pairs. There are 6 pairs. In number, 12 Cetasikas. 2 Passaddhi, 2 Lahuta, 2 Mudita, 2 Kammanyata, and 2 Pagunyata, and 2 Jugata. Passaddhi means tranquility. Lahuta means lightness. Mudita, malleability. Kammanyata, wieldiness. Pagunyata, proficiency. Ujugata, rectitude. Let's clarify what is the meaning of Kaya and Chitta. Now you know meaning of the Chitta, that's consciousness or mind. What's the meaning of Kaya? Usually, I think those who have learned Pali, they know that Kaya almost refer to the body. But here, Kaya is for aggregation, for the combination. Here we take the meaning of the Kaya as Nama Kaya. Combination of the mentality. In other words, Cetasika. If so, what is the meaning of Kaya Passaddhi? Kaya Passaddhi means the tranquility of the Cetasikas. Tranquility of mental factors. Citta Passaddhi, tranquility of consciousness or mind. This is the classification given in the Abhidhamma text, in Dhamma Sangani also. There are some arguments that what is the reason for 2? So reason is to emphasize the nature of the Chitta and the Cetasikas, the function of the Passaddhi and the 6 pairs. The function not only for Chitta but also for Cetasika. we can't find the deep explanation within the commentary in detail. So there are some arguments among the scholars why there is to it. So we have to understand that that's a function of these mental factors. It functions to Chitta and Cetasikas, consciousness and mental factors. What are the characteristics of those mental factors? Calming down or quiet our disturbances of the mental body and the consciousness. What are these disturbances? So we have to think about the opposite factors of these mental factors. Restlessness and worry are the opposite factors of passaddhi. If you have restlessness in our mind, we can't quiet, we can't calm down our mind. If we are worrying with the past and the future, I have done these bad actions, I have committed these demerits, I couldn't perform wholesome actions, I could not accumulate wholesome deeds. So those who are worrying with the bad deeds that have done in the past and the good deeds that have not accomplished, that have not accumulated in future, they cannot calm down their mind. They are the disturbances. Therefore, the function of the tranquility is calm down, quiet our mental body, mental factors, and the mind. So function has explained in another aspect. That means like a crushing those disturbances. Tranquility destroys or crush those disturbances. When you calm down your mind, you feel the peacefulness of your mind. We are cool. That's how we understand, how it appears, how it becomes a surface, how we experience this mental factor. When a meditator practices meditation, after some period, in the beginning, it's very difficult to calm down his mind, always wandering here and there to many objects, past, present, future. When he calms down, when he or she focus his mind towards one object, either samatha or vipassana, serenity meditation or insight meditation. Gradually, their mind become more and more peaceful. That's how we experience these mental factors. That's why it mentioned as the manifestation is like peacefulness and the coolness. When you cool your mind, calm down your mind, you can feel the calmness of your body as well. When you perform actions, not like previously, your postures also very, very peaceful. When you are doing something, you do it calmly and peacefully and gently, not roughly. Those are the nature of these mental factors. Let's move into the next pair. That's Kaya Lahuta and Chitta Lahuta. That's Kaya Lahuta and Chitta Lahuta. We have also the simple meaning of Lahuta. Lahuta means lightness. Kaya, now you know the meaning. Cetasikas, Chitta, mind. Lightness of the Cetasikas and the lightness of the consciousness. Characteristics, its characteristic is subsiding the heaviness of the mental body and the consciousness. Always we have to think about the opposite factors. When you think about the opposite factors, we can understand its function easily. The opposite factors of the Lahuta and Mudita are sloth and torpor, thina middha. Suppose when sloth and torpor overwhelm our mind, when we feel drowsiness, we feel we are sinking, like we feel heaviness. We feel heavy. Our body is very, very heavy. That's the influence of the Thina and Middha. When we develop meditation, when we overcome sloth and torpor, we would call our mind become lighter and lighter. When our mind becomes lighter and lighter, we feel the lightness of the body as well. When meditators meditate for some period, when they get some concentration, some level of concentration, they feel their body is light, not like the beginning days of the meditation retreat. The very beginning days, he feels he had to struggle with the sloth and torpor. But after getting some concentration, the lightness can be experienced not only with the mind, also with their bodies. So those are those mental factors actually obvious in the meditation practice. So function is to crush this heaviness, to destroy this heaviness. Manifestation is not sluggishness. Proximate cause of all these, the 6 type of pairs are mental, body, and consciousness. This is the second pair. Now let's move into the third pair. Kaya mudita and chitta mudita. Mudu means we call softness. That is softness of the mind and the mental factors. Also think about the opposite factors. Those who have wrong views, we call, they are not soft. They are very rigid. They are not flexible. Those who have conceit, mana, arrogance, pride, it's very difficult to make a conclusion, to come to the conclusion with them. Because they are not flexible, because they are very rigid, because they are not soft. But those who are very flexible can exchange others' ideas, able to accept others' comments, arguments. We call them, they are very flexible. It's easy to associate them, easy to deal with them. Similarly, so that's actually nature of their mental factors. This is a mudita and the kaya mudita and chitta mudita. The characteristic is subsiding the rigidity. Also, we say those who have conceit, they are like a stick, difficult to bend. So when we develop our meditation, we should have the softness of the mind and the mental factors that destroy this rigid nature. This is the third pair. Now let's move into the fourth one. Kaya kammanyata and chitta kammanyata. Kammanyata means wieldiness. That is suitable to examples also given as gold, as I remember. First, when we get the gold from earth, then we have to purify it. Without purifying, we cannot make jewelries or whatever we need. Similarly, when we are practicing our spiritual path, we have to make our mind, we have to change our mind. It's like adapting. to make our mind to the suitable status, because our mind always wandering and influenced with the unwholesome mental factors. Therefore, we have to destroy the unwieldiness. It manifests as the success of mental body and consciousness, making something an object. Therefore, we can see in the suttas, Buddha said that those whose mind become kammanya, I say the Pali term, then Buddha preach 4 noble truths. They call kalla citta, mudu citta, kammanyata. Those are the Pali terms used in the suttas. This is another mental factor that destroy the remaining hindrances. Actually, we can see in the suttas, all the hindrances have this unwieldiness nature. They obstruct our spiritual path. When we are preparing our mind in the spiritual path to develop concentration, wisdom, hindrances came and make, I would call it, make it unsuitable natures, make it inappropriate. Therefore, function of the kammanyata is to destroy these natures of the hindrances, unwieldiness nature, obstructing nature. We cannot find the special unwholesome mental factors regarding the opposite factors for this kammanyata. It mentioned that all the remaining hindrances create unwieldiness. That obstruct our spiritual path. Next one, pagunyata. Pagunya derived from the term paguna. Pagunassa bhava pagunyata. The nature of the paguna is called pagunyata. What's paguna? Sadhu Silananda has given 3 meanings, interpretations for paguna: straight, proficiency, and being in a good state, being in a good condition. Sayadaw prefer the being in a good state as good interpretation. But almost this term has translated as proficiency, also by the Bhikkhu Bodhi. So it has translated as proficiency. Suppose when we are sick, our body is not healthy. We need to get medicine and suitable foods. Similarly, our mind becomes unhealthy because of unwholesome mental factors. As we have learned, craving, hatred, delusion, envy, there are 14 unwholesome mental factors we have learned, they are like germs. It makes our mind unhealthy. Therefore, we need to develop wholesome mental factors, such as faith, mindfulness, wisdom. The opposite factors of this proficiency are lack of faith, lack of mindfulness. Therefore, our mind is lacking with these unwholesome mental factors, lacking with these wholesome mental factors. Our mind is not in a good state, not in a good condition to perform wholesome deeds. It's like a sickness of the mind. Paguna or pagunyata is being familiar with and make the good state to perform wholesome deeds. Those are the 6 pairs. Passaddhi, Lahuta, Mudita, Kammanyata, Pagunyata, last one, Ujugata. The 5th one, last one, Ujugata. Uju means straight or rectitude. Kayujugatan Chitujugata. Rectitude of straightness of mental body and the straightness of consciousness. That's one of the good quality mentioned in the qualities, attributes of the Sangha, Supatipanna, Ujupatipanna. That's also, we should have to develop this nature. We should be straight. We call them straightforward person. Not a crooked one. Not a cunning person. Also, it's a good quality that mentioned among the 5 qualities that should have for the meditator, yogi. He should not be a cunning person. He should not be a crooked one. He had to reveal his faults to the teacher. Also, his development as it is. That's one of the good quality mentioned in the suttas. Here you can find the function is to crush tortoiseness and or we call the crookedness of the mental body and consciousness. Therefore, we think about these mental factors not to just learning. We have to develop these mental factors. Not just to count the Citta Cetasika. Our learning should be improve our good qualities. Abandon our unwholesome mental factors, our defilements. This is one of the qualities that should be developed that should be cultivated. We have to develop our uprightness. We have to develop our straightness. Usually, the ordinary people have such nature, unwholesome nature. That's why we are learning and we are developing wholesome natures. Bhikkhu Bodhi has mentioned that opposite factors are hypocrisy and fraudulence, which create the crookedness in the mental body and the consciousness. Those are the 6 pairs that we have learned. But regarding the numbers, don't worry about the numbers, because these mental factors arise in all the wholesome, the Sobhana Cittas, beautiful consciousness. Maha Kusala, Maha Vipaka, Maha Kiriya, Rupa, Vachara, Rupa, Vacharan, Lokuttara. So those are Sabba Kusala Sadharana, common for all the beautiful consciousness. 7 plus 12, 19. There are 19 Sabba Kusala Sadharana Cetasika. Then we will move into the next the group Virati. I think you can remember we have discussed in last week Samma Vacha, Samma Kammanta, and Samma Ajiva. There are also 3 moods of these abstinences. So now we don't have time to explain those 3 moods. Just we will discuss in brief. Samma Vacha, right speech. Samma Kammanta, right action. Samma Ajiva, right livelihood. Right speech means the avoidance of abstaining of wrong speech, telling lies, slandering, harsh speech, idle chatter. Samma Kammanta, right action, abstaining from bad bodily actions, killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct. The third one we have to clarify livelihood. That means those who earn their life, earn money with unsuitable occupations, such as killing. For example, fishermen. Someone choose their livelihood to do unwholesome action, such as killing, stealing, telling lies, slandering. Those who earn their life with those bad actions, or Buddha has mentioned that the business, unsuitable business, selling poison, selling liquor, selling weapons, selling animals to slaughter, to meat. Those are the unsuitable business. Those who involve in those business to earn money, those are not a right livelihood, they are wrong livelihood. Those who abandon this livelihood we call they are now in the good livelihood. They have Samma Ajiva. How these mental factors arise? Here we have to remember one more thing. Than other Cetasikas, we have to pay attention for Viratis because Virati do not arise in all the beautiful Cittas. It arises in only 16 Cittas, sorry. It arises in only 16 Cittas. There are 8 Mahakusala Cittas. So you can see 8 Mahakusala Cittas, they arise separately, one by one. Suppose if someone is abstaining from wrong speech, at that moment, he cannot abstain from killing. Those are 2 actions, 2 natures, 2 mind moments, 2 mind streams. So these mental factors arise in 8 Mahakusala Cittas separately. Also not always, occasionally. When occasion happens, it arises. For example, when mosquitoes bite, mind arises to kill. At that time, someone reminds, oh, it's not good. I have observed 5 precepts. It's not a good action. Then that person abstain from killing. That's right action. Samma kammanta. When some incident happens, to tell lies, at that time our mind reminds, it's not suitable to tell lies. Then abstaining from telling lies arise as Samma Vacha. Those are the incidents, how these mental factors arise in our mind. Therefore, when we think about the Mahakusala Cittas, Samma Vacha or Samma Kammanta, Samma Ajiva, arise separately and occasionally, not always. They arise sometimes one by one. In Lokuttara Cittas, Viratis arise always together because they eradicate the defilements, they eradicate the wrong speech and wrong action and wrong livelihood without remaining. I mean, with those 4 paths. Therefore, they arise always and together. Viratis arise always and together in supramundane consciousness, Magga and Phala, path consciousness and fruition consciousness. So the numbers are, we can take as 8 or 40, that's okay. So we have to memorize that. Viratis, 3 Viratis arise in 8 Mahakusala Cittas separately and occasionally. In Lokuttara Cittas, supramundane consciousness always and together. So Viratis arise with 16 Cittas, 8 Mahakusala and 8 Lokuttara. Next group apamanya. Apamanya means no pamana. Pamana means limit. Apamanya means limitless. There are 4 mental factors that we have already discussed: to metta and upekha in last week. In the Abhidhamma, when we count the Chitta Cetasikas, but we name as apamanya only 2. But there are 4 mental factors. Among 4 apamanya, 4 nature of the limitlessness, we have discussed 2 in Sobhana Sadharana. Adosa appears as metta, tatramajjatata appears as upekha. Here, karuna and mudita. We know karuna, compassion, the characteristic of promoting the removal of suffering in others. Suppose when we see someone is suffering, for example, when we see beggars, we have a nature, that nature arises in our mind to remove their suffering. Although we can't support, so we have such a nature. People have such nature. So our mind is like trembling. So sometimes it's close to the worrying. Therefore, we have to be careful to identify whether it's a worry or compassion. It's not important to remove their suffering. So, for example, we are not able to remove the other suffering, but we have our mind, or it's better to remove their suffering. That's the nature of the karuna. Next one, mudita. Appreciative joy. That's a gladness of the success of others. It's opposite to the jealousy, envy. When we are jealous, we cannot appreciate others' success. Therefore, this is opposite factor of the issa or envy. Those are the mental factors that should be developed. If we are jealous, we don't get any advantage. It makes our mind also unhappy. When we appreciate other success, it makes our mind also happy. No need to pay. We can get the gladness and the happiness freely. That's what we have to practice, our mind, to get the happiness, real happiness. Function is being unenvious at others' success. Manifestation is elimination of aversion. Proximate cause, seeing the success of others. So what are the associations? Mahakusala, Mahakiriya, and first, second, third, fourth jhanas. Karuna and mudita arise in 8 Mahakusala and 8 Mahakiriya. Suppose when we develop compassion, appreciative joy, those Cetasikas arise with our Mahakusala Chittas. When Arahants develop compassion, appreciative joy, for example, Buddha and Arahants, at that time, Appamanya or limitless mental factors arise with Kriya Chittas. Those who develop jhana levels, first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, for Arahants, those are Kriya Chittas. For ordinary and the trainers, Shrekha, those Chittas are Kusala. First jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana. For Vipaka, that arises as rebirth consciousness. Why we here mention only four jhana? Why fifth jhana? Because it mentioned that Karuna and Mudita associate with the Sukha Somanasa Vedana, happy or pleasurable feeling. They do not arise with Upekha regarding the jhana chittas. So there are arguments for Kusala chittas, but usually the scholars, Abhidhamma scholars, believe that their opinion is that rule is for jhana chittas, not for Kusala and Kriya. If so, how many chittas that associate Appamanya? There are 28. 8 Mahakusala, 8 Mahakirya, and 12 jhana chittas. First jhana 3, Kusala Vipaka Kriya. Second jhana 3, Kusala Vipaka Kriya. Third jhana 3, Kusala Vipaka Kriya. Fourth jhana, Kusala Vipaka Kriya. Altogether 12. 12 plus 8 plus 8, 28. Appamanya associate with these 28 chittas. Also think not together, they arise separately. Because when compassion arises, appreciative joy does not arise at that moment. They also arise separately and occasionally, not always. Therefore, we have to learn the Niyata and Aniyata Cetasikas, fixed and unfixed Cetasikas. Ekuna visati dhamma, jayante ekuna sattisu. Tayo solasa chittesu atvisati andvaya. You know, ekuna visati dhamma means there are 19 Cetasikas common for all the beautiful consciousness. In Pali, Sabba Kusala Sadharana. Jayante Kuna Sattisu. They arise with Ekuna Satti. Ekuna Satti means 59 beautiful consciousness. Tayo Solasa Chittesu. 3 mental factors arise with 16 chittas. They are, what are them? Tayo 3, Virati, Samma Vacha, Samma Kammanta, and Samma Ajiva. They arise with these 16 chittas. 8 Mahakusala and Lokuttara. Atthavisati and Doyang. Doyang means 2. Atthavisati means 28. What are the 2 Cetasikas? Appamanya. Karuna and Mudita associate 28 chittas. What are them? 8 Mahakusala, 8 Mahakirya, and 12 jhana chittas. Paññā prakāsitā satta cattālīsa vidēsupi. Wisdom arises with 47 consciousness that are with wisdom. Sampayutta Chatuddevam Sobhanisreva Sobhana. So this is the association of the beautiful mental factors. The next two stanzas explain the fixed and unfixed mental factors. Yatha uttānusārena sēsāniyata yogino sangahanca pavakkāmi te sandāni yathāraha. Issa maccera kukkucca virati karunādayo nānā kadāci mānoca thīna middhan tatāsaha. Issa, envy, maccera, stinginess, kukkucca, regret, virati, three abstinences, karuna and mudita, nāna, they arise separately. When envy arises at that time, regret do not arise. Issa maccera kukkucca arise separately, and kadachi, not always, sometimes. Similarly, virati, three viratis, three abstinences, samma vacha, samma kammanta, and samma ajiva arise separately and occasionally. In the same way, karuna and mudita, compassion and appreciative joy, arise separately and occasionally. Manu means, conceit. Can you remember conceit arises in how many chittas? Conceit arises in ditti vipayuta chittas. Also arise sometimes, not always. Thīna middham tatāsaha. Sloth and torpor arise, saha means together. Sloth and torpor arise together, but not always. That's also kadachi, sometimes. Sloth and torpor arise in how many chittas? There are 5 sasaṅkārika chittas, unwholesome chittas. Thīna middha arise with those 5 sasaṅkārika chittas. Yatha uttānusārena sēsāniyata yogino sangahanca pavakkāmi te sandāni yathāra. So we have to understand that those cetasikas as aniyata, unfixed, remaining are fixed. If so, how many aniyata cetasikas? Unfixed. Issa, maccera kukkucca, 3, virati, 3, plus 6, karuna mudita, 8, mana, 9, thīna middha, 11. So how many aniyata cetasikas? Unfixed. There are 11 unfixed cetasikas. If so, how many niyata? Niyata cetasika, 41. There are 41 niyata of fixed cetasikas. There are 11 unfixed cetasikas. Some cetasikas arise separately, occasionally. Some are always, some are together. That are the thīna and middha. Today I have prepared to start the combination of the consciousness. It seems to be we don't have enough time to continue. Therefore, I will begin the combination of the chittas in next week. And after that, we can do revision again. I expected that to complete the combination of the beautiful consciousness, but we don't have enough time to complete that section. Therefore, let's do the combination of the consciousness in next week and the revision after that. So today we have discussed beautiful mental factors, remaining beautiful mental factors. We started with the 6 pairs, altogether 12 Cetasikas. Kaya Passaddhi, Chitta Passaddhi, Kaya Lahuta, Chitta Lahuta, Kaya Mudita, Chitta Mudita, Kaya Kammanyata, Chitta Kammanyata, Kaya Pagunyata, Chitta Pagunyata, Kaya Jugata, Chitta Jugata. How many? There are 12 Cetasikas. After that, 3 Viratis. Samma Vacha, Samma Kammanta, Samma Ajiva. After that, 2 Appamanya. Karuna and Mudita, compassion and appreciative joy. We have already discussed the last one, the Panya, in last week. Now we have discussed the combination of the Chittas. Also, I gave some hints to the enumerate, to count down the numbers of the Chittas. Among these beautiful mental factors, Sobhana Sadharana. The mental factors, beautiful mental factors common for all the beautiful consciousness. There are 19, arise in all the beautiful consciousness. They are 59. 3 abstinences arise with 16 Chittas. 8 Mahakusala and 8 Lokuttara. Panya arise with 47 Chittas. 2 abstinences arise. 3 abstinences arise in 16 Chittas. Then 2 Appamanya. Karuna and Mudita arise with 28 Chittas. 8 Mahakusala, 8 Mahakiriya, and 12 Rupavachara Chittas, except 5th Jhana. These are the mental factors that we have discussed today. Next week, we will enumerate how to find the Cetasikas with those consciousness. We will start from wholesome consciousness. Therefore, please revise previous lessons that we have done. The association of the universal mental factors, occasionals, unwholesome mental factors, and beautiful mental factors. Then we can find out the Cetasikas arise with particular consciousness. Today, let's conclude by sharing merits to deities and all the beings. Akasattha ca bhummattha devanaga muhindika punyantam anumoditva chiran rakkhantu sambuddha sasanam. Akasattha ca bhummattha devanaga muhindika punyantam anumoditva chiran rakkhantu sambuddha desanam. Akasattha ca bhummattha devanaga muhindika punyantam anumoditva chiran rakkhantu sambuddha savake chiran rakkhantu mamparam. Buddha sasanam chiran tittatu. Buddha sasanam chiran tittatu. Buddha sasanam chiran tittatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.